In this video, we're going to be telling you about how Ricky Rubio really needs more appreciation for his passing abilities and how truly underrated of a player he really is in the NBA. Ricky Rubio was born on October 21, 1990 in El Masnou, Catalonia, Spain. That would make his zodiac sign as Scorpio. Fun fact, he happens to have an older brother that starred in Spain's top pro basketball league. As for Ricky, he first came into the Spanish ACB League during the 2005-2006 season and was able to win the Juventud that year due to his outstanding level of play. But he wasn't done just yet, as he was named the FIBA Europe Young Player of the Year for 3 consecutive seasons after that, winning the award during the 2007, 2008, and 2009 seasons. That 2008 year was very special for Ricky, as that was the season that saw him lead his team to the Euro Cup Championship, where he eventually won the whole thing. Then, skipping ahead one year to 2009, he entered the NBA draft. His excellence in Spain had caught the eyes of many different teams, with some teams believing that he was the best in his class at the time. Rubio may not have been selected with the first overall pick, but he was drafted 5th overall in the first round to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Although that selection didn't come without a price though, as the organization had to trade up in that draft in order to obtain the number 5 overall pick. The team had to trade Randy Foye and Mike Miller in order to pick up that pick, Etan Thomas, Darius Sangila, and Alexei Petrov from the Washington Wizards. Rubio also happened to go down as the very first player born in the 1990s to get drafted to an NBA team. But Minnesota wasn't done after selecting Rubio. They also picked up Johnny Flynn and Ty Lawson, with both picks shocking the NBA world, as many felt that there were better options to go along with Rubio. Lawson ended up being traded to the Denver Nuggets, and the Wolves used their final first-round pick to select Wayne Ellington. But the road to the NBA wasn't that easy for Rubio. He still had a contract with his team in Spain, which caused many to believe that he would have to play one more year overseas before being eligible to play in games with the Wolves. This whole situation had Rubio and his team trying desperately to pick up some endorsements in order to buy out his contract, as there is a rule in the NBA's collective bargaining agreement that doesn't allow for a franchise to buy out a contract that is more than $500,000, with Rubio's current contract ranging from $6 to $8 million. He finally joined the Wolves during the 2011-2012 NBA season. Fans of the club were clearly anticipating his arrival. Once his plane landed in the state, there were tons of fans there to greet him. The entourage of people who were enthralled by his game continued into his very first ball game with the organization, as the stadium had a sellout crowd for the first time since 2007. Rubio picked up 6 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists in 26 total minutes played, with the team losing to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Skip ahead to the end of his first month with the team, and he was named the Western Conference Rookie of the Month due to his outstanding play so far. Shortly after that, he was asked to participate in the Rising Stars Challenge, being drafted to Team Shaq. The nomination clearly gave him a huge confidence boost, as he scored a career high a few months later, putting up 22 points against the Philadelphia 76ers. Then, just 3 weeks after his career night, he had a scary collision with Kobe Bryant during a game against the Los Angeles Lakers, which ended up seeing him tear his ACL and caused him to miss the remainder of the season. He played in Minnesota until the end of the 2017 season, when he got traded to the Utah Jazz in exchange for a 2018 first-round draft pick. Rubio put up some fairly good numbers with the team and provided veteran leadership to a number of young men on the roster, including Donovan Mitchell, who is now a star in this league. Sadly though, his time in Utah didn't last very long. He left the team in free agency and opted to sign a 3-year, $51 million contract with the Phoenix Suns before the start of the 2019 season. After only 1 season with the team, he was shipped off to none other than the Timberwolves once again, where he currently resides. The current team is not very good at all, and it's a shame that he was never able to get himself on a true contender outside of the Jazz for 1 or 2 seasons. Minnesota is right in the middle of a rebuild, but will need Rubio to mentor a few of the young guys on the roster, such as Jarrett Culver and Anthony Edwards. It's unfortunate that Rubio may end his career with one of the worst teams in the league, but he still has a lot to offer for a contending team looking for a spark off the bench. One thing that he has completely excelled at throughout his entire career is his passing ability. He has outstanding basketball IQ, which allows him to read opposing defenses and get to the spot that he wants to be at on the court. Then he's able to decipher the area around him and make a pinpoint pass to the player of his choosing. His passing ability has been a key factor in his overall game since he was 18 years old, with many organizations marking that down as the top positive for drafting him when he first entered the league. His passing ability is something that people don't talk about very often either, which is disappointing. Rubio isn't a very outspoken person at all, which is a fair reason as to why he doesn't get the recognition that he rightfully deserves. Or maybe it's because his passing ability is so fantastic that people have simply gotten so used to it and aren't wowed by it anymore. Regardless, his passing has become a very underrated part of his overall game that people don't realize. That attribute alone makes him a great player to have on your roster, leading the charge and taking the responsibility as the main ball carrier. His insane court vision has led to many backdoor cuts and behind-the-back dimes that have resulted in thousands of points. Some ESPN analysts have even gone so far as to label him as the best passer of the decade. Even Kobe Bryant was very outspoken about Rubio's abilities with the basketball, claiming that Rubio was far better than he was when he was 18. And any type of compliment that you can get out of Kobe Bryant is a sign that you are doing something right. If you've ever tuned into a game that happens to feature Rubio, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. He has this unreal ability to make plays when there just doesn't seem to be any play available. The way that he's able to contort his body to put the ball right on the money to his teammates is something that doesn't take practice to replicate. It takes a natural level of talent that very little basketball players have nowadays, especially because a lot of younger players love to score but don't love to share the wealth. Another player that you may have seen putting up the same types of passes is LeBron James. James has put together so many highlight reels of excellent no-look passes and behind-the-back dimes that will make your jaw drop. But he gets a lot more credit due to his overall ability and talent that has led him to make about 10 different NBA Finals, with 8 of those being consecutive. Rubio doesn't have the same size or speed that James possesses, nor does he have the same scoring threat that he does. Rubio is a player that will never explode for a large number of points in one contest. He only takes smart shots that have a high percentage of going in, or he will opt not to take a shot at all. His shot selection makes him a valuable asset to a team in need of veteran leadership also. Once again, he isn't the most explosive player in the NBA right now, but his talent level goes far beyond the stat sheet, which includes passes that don't end up going down as assists. Just because the player doesn't score after catching the pass doesn't mean that Rubio's ability goes down any lower. I'm sure that Rubio has made a number of passes that haven't resulted in assists, but have been able to find the hands of a different teammate and result in either 2 points or 2 free throws. It's also worth mentioning that his defensive ability is underrated also. He averaged nearly 2 steals per game while in Spain, and has great body control to stay in front of his matchup. That ended up coming into play multiple times throughout his NBA career, and helps many teams who are very poor on that end of the court. His overall game benefits the lives of so many other teammates who get to share the floor with him. He just makes the game so much easier for the players around him, which is especially helpful for a team like the Timberwolves right now, who are trying to develop Edwards and Culver for the future. But he's an even better person off the court, with most players forming great bonds with the former Spain player. This was most notable with Donovan Mitchell in Utah, with the two being seen together outside of practice very often on various Instagram stories and posts. It's very easy to see how he has been able to capture the heart of his teammates, and that effect has carried over with the fans as well, becoming an instant fan favorite no matter which team he goes to. To this day, he is still very much loved in the city of Minnesota, and he will continue to be for a long time. Don't forget to leave this video a like down below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click on the video that appears now on your screen to keep watching our content.